You know, for all the things Titus did wrong with this game, they did do one thing right. They based the game on the cartoon that was running at the time, The New Superman Adventures. And if you look at the back of the box for the game, you'll see that's actually the name of the game too. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? This was a good idea because people buying the game didn't need to know anything about the comics. Like, they didn't need to know that Superboy Prime punched a hole through time. And instead, all they needed to do was watch the cartoon, and you were caught up to speed. They started working on the game in 1996, a few months after the show started, and the game was first shown off at E3 1997. That's right, Superman 64 was shown off at an E3. That's a scary thought. The game took over 2 years to make, and by the time it came out in 1999, there was only 3 more brand new episodes of the cartoon made. What happened? Did Superman 64 kill the cartoon? No one really knows for sure besides those involved, but odds are that wasn't the case. Considering the Batman cartoon ended at the beginning of the year, and there had barely been any new episodes of the Superman cartoon that year already, odds are Superman 64 was just rushed out the door so they could actually capitalize on the fan base of the show while it still existed. And, well, you know how well that worked out. Alright, now that we've gone through 269 rings, and yes, that is the actual number I counted, tragically, we are greeted by the first action stage of 7, making this a 14-stage game as stated in the last episode. For some reason, we are actually on the Daily Planet website, as you can tell by the mouse cursor there on the screen. That's not mine, that's actually in the game on the art. It just... How do they actually expect Superman to be on the Daily Planet webpage? Did those rings lead to a coffee shop or something? Is he just chilling out, taking out his laptop, just kind of surfing the internet? It's like, what should I do next? I know, the Daily Planet will know. Maybe Lois has written me a bunch of letters. Who really knows at this point? But it does introduce what we have to do in the next stage. Now, if you are running this on an emulator, you can only see the footage. You can't see the description.
This looks like a job for Superman.
So, since we haven't really done anything in the method of walking so far, you'll find that Superman's controls are basically tank controls like the old Resident Evil games. He turns around like this, and his walking generally sucks. So, you will be flying for the majority of the game if you want to make it a little less painful. But I said a little. It's still pretty bad. These are our first non-gray enemies of the game, and they introduce the best mechanic of this game, and probably what makes me come back to it every time. Pretty much anything you can pick up in this game will explode. This enemy, if I pick him up, explodes. These innocent boxes. I walk up to them. The problem is, walking is also very awkward, if you haven't been able to tell yet. These boxes explode and send me across the screen in certain cases. See, just even touching them, they get close to a wall, they blow up. But they found us a nice little secret here. A multi-pass. Okay, so now we can actually get rid of these lasers, which we can go down here, but we can't go down here yet. Your first instinct would be to go down there, but no, we have to go deal with a feature that this game has not really had us use yet. Don't ignore those lasers too, the blue ones do nothing. We have to interact with this computer, but you wouldn't know that, because why would you think to use this computer? All the screens are broken. The only thing that's running is the middle here. Walk up to it, press the B button, and it works. Now the area below is opened. Now, this room, unfortunately, we're going to be in a lot. But this room is kind of important because this is actually where the game pretty much ends, or the stage, sorry, ends. We have to get access to these 2 rooms here, but we can't do that for a while. So the only other door that we open, the one with the key card, is right here, and it introduces us to our first supervillain of the game, Mala.
Mala, crush his skull.
Thank you, General.
Mala is from the planet Krypton, same as Superman, which means she has the exact same powers as Superman, which thankfully in this game means absolutely nothing. She was a lieutenant of General Jax Ur, and together they attempted to take over Krypton with an army. They were stopped by Jor-El, better known as Superman's dad, and put into the Phantom Zone, which the people of Krypton used as a prison dimension by firing Virtual Boys at people. Years later on Earth, Superman finds out that Mala was only supposed to be imprisoned for 20 years because she didn't start the whole thing, and Superman lets her out because he's stupid. Superman then proceeds to show Mala how to use the same superpowers he has, because he's really stupid. And then Mala turns around and frees Jax-Ur. They both attempt to take over the Earth, but Superman stops her by hitting her over the head with a car. Okay, actually he puts them both back in the Phantom Zone, but I think the car scene's funnier. Mala is based on the character Ursa from the first 2 Superman movies, and Jax-Ur is based on the main villain of Superman 2, General Zod. Zod is actually a pretty badass character, and I kinda wish he was represented in this game, but Mala is actually voiced in a later episode of the cartoon by the same actor who plays Ursa in the movies. Both Ursa and General Zod are based on old comic book characters. Weirdly enough, Mala appears solo in this game. Usually, they were never really a part in the show. And even the comic book that comes with this game shows the 2 of them in the game. But that comic book is full of lies, and we're going to get to that later when we get to my favorite character being out of the game. But odds are Mala was put in the game because she's one of the few female supervillains Superman actually fights in the cartoon. Mala and Jax-Ur appeared in 3 episodes of the cartoon. Now there's 2 really good glitches you can actually do when you are introduced to Mala. The first one is this. If you get close enough to her, she'll start running towards you. Now if you're fast enough, you can loop around her and leave the room. Go over here so the other door opens, so it closes the other one automatically. Turn around, and the door didn't quite get to close. She will be stuck there, running eternally. You can leave, go back up to where we were originally, where the level started. She'll still be doing this. She will run there as long as she can until you get close enough to the door that it auto-opens. Now, glitch number 2 is a lot more entertaining. Glitch number 2 basically has you running up, flying to Mala. You can't walk up to her. You have to make sure you avoid that green laser. As long as you're flying, this will work. Fly up to her and just punch. Just beat the crap out of her. This is the only time in the game, as far as I'm aware of, that it will let you just beat up the character. Any other time that you get close to someone in midair, it will start talking, but it doesn't work here for some reason. So you can beat her up as much as you want. If you cheat and use superpowers, you can do that on her as well. It won't make a difference. You have to be careful of one thing, though. Don't get out of hand with it, because if you do it too much or put her in a certain spot, she'll fall through the floor. And if that happens, you're not beating this stage, because she'll never reappear. But, enough of that. Let's actually find out what she wants to tell us. This is exciting walls of text blocking our conversations. She runs into the screen. If you place yourself in certain positions, she'll actually run into the wall and bounce around and run in front of the camera a couple times. But other than that, now that we have our mission, we have to go save some employees of the dam by swimming into the giant electric eel-infested water of the dam. Ripped right out of Mario 64, practically. This character is the only time you will find an electric eel here, and probably is some crazy endangered species. It does have some cool glitches linked to it, though. If you run into it in a certain way, or fly into it, it will send you through the wall, and it'll send you into the minus zone, which is basically an area outside of the level. Stay out here too long, and the game will freeze, and you have to restart the entire thing. But sometimes it leads to actually really cool glitches. You can get into other areas you're not supposed to get, and that just breaks the game further, actually. But that's half the fun, right? Okay, ignoring the giant electric eel, underwater there's actually a key card here. It's shaped like water. Actually, I just noticed, it literally shows a picture of a wave high and a wave low. It's showing you that it's supposed to lower the water. Although, for some reason, all it does is open these doors. So we just get more enemies here, and there's actually a power-up we can use, too, which will come in handy later. Astute listeners with ears will have noticed that Superman's health is low, and as a result, we get a lovely heartbeat noise. Not as annoying as the Zelda, like, chime, but it's still kind of up there. Okay, going into this room, walking up to this switch, pressing the B button again. Lowers the water, and kills that only electric eel. That's the only time we'll ever see it in the game. Superman probably just killed an endangered species and doesn't give a damn because he's that hardcore. Fantastic. Okay, so before I go in there, actually no, it should be fine if I go in here. I'll introduce you to how you raise your health, because I don't want to put up with that heartbeat the entire level. Over here we have a Superman logo. This is your health icons in the game. They'll raise your health bar to a random amount, depends on the icon. But I love the sound they picked for apparently healing yourself. Here, just listen. He gets shot! Why does shooting yourself heal you? What logic was that? Either... I want to think it's a bad sound effect, but I'm pretty sure that was deliberate. Okay, so in this room we have our trapped dam workers. But there's a fun little thing you can do here. One of them will walk up to you and will basically explain what's going on. But if you do it fast enough... Oh, missed. Okay, so now apparently we've got bombs to deal with. Guess what that means? We've got a timer. Thankfully they gave us 10 minutes, which means I can do stupid stuff like this. I don't know why they put this in. It's just funny. Like, Superman is strong enough to basically rip through cars, rip through buildings by punches, and you give him a sissy slap, and he's just like, "Are you okay?" I just... You can do this to later characters you meet, too. When you save Lois and Jimmy and the Professor, you can punch them, too. And it doesn't kill them. It's the best part. It doesn't affect their health at all. Okay, so the icon we just picked up is Super Speed, which gives you this annoying whooshing sound when you're walking, but makes you go a lot faster. Problem is, guess what happens when we walk too fast in this tunnel? We go through the wall. We're once again in the negative zone. Problem is, we can't jump or fly in this zone, because we walked into it. If you fly into the negative zone, you fly. If you walk into it, you walk. We can walk back into the stage, but we're stuck in the floor. Also, the super speed makes it pretty hard to control. So we can say hi to our friends here again. Give him a little slap on the knee. Love the water effect underneath the building, by the way. Just shows that the entire level, that all we did was literally lower the water's texture. Which also basically means Superman is walking on water right now. He is the new Jesus. And that's tragic. So, really, walking around here is not going to accomplish much. You can see the water level right there. I think you can actually see the seizure I'm about to give you, apparently. I think you can actually see the eel if you tilt this a certain way, but it doesn't look like it because all it's doing is just making things worse. There's the water, and we fell through the water. This is Superman's innards, in case you were ever wondering what the Man of Steel looked like inside. There's the water, there's us falling through it, and any second now I'm going to break the game. Yup. Isn't this game great, folks? Loads of fun. Let's go back to this. The only way out is to restart. So we get to go back to that lovely intro screen again. One problem with this intro screen, and I don't know if this is my cartridge or not, once you restart a level, I think once or twice, and if you stay on this screen too long, the game locks up. It doesn't matter what you press, you can't get out of it. It tries to reloop the cutscene, but it isn't able to do it, and you're just stuck mashing buttons constantly trying to get out of it. It's useless, then you have to restart the entire system.